and then you claim 18, but second place gets nothing. So get up at this godforsaken booth. The truth is you sadly mistaken. Proof I'm better than layman.
All right, Dynamite. You got to discuss this thing. Oh boy. I want to talk one more time about this union thing. I'm not going to go too far into it. I just want to say that now the sickos are saying that because WWE didn't get picketed when they ran the 2300 arena, what was this, last year for NXT, that it must be WWE calling the union and leading the picketing. So now WWE controls the unions. Let's just be honest. When it comes to the AEW fan base, the WWE is the white man. It's the synagogue of Satan. It's the Jewish conspiracy. It's something that you can blame everything on. Something happens, just blame WWE. It doesn't matter what it is. No matter how ridiculous it is. Blame WWE. Now all of a sudden they're in control of the unions. Now they created a union picket outside of AEW show. It doesn't matter that it didn't happen before. You think that these things nothing ever just happens, or these companies don't find opportunities to lean on these companies? Now is a perfect time for them to lean on the 2300 arena because AEW is doing a residency there. That's why they're leaning on them now. Right? So, and plus, when it comes to AEW, there's the added element of them being very vocally progressive, which WWE is not. WWE is not vocally progressive. AEW is. So, and plus we don't know what the hell happened with WWE and NXT. Maybe they used union labor for that job. Maybe they didn't. Who knows? Maybe they used their own guys, and they didn't use the guys from the facility. You know, so I don't know. But not everything that goes wrong at a AEW show during their week is a WWE plot. My God, that's a conspiracy theory. You're creating conspiracies out of thin air. What next? If it rains, then it's Nick Khan with a weapon making it rain on these AEW. Come on, man, get over it. Shut up. All right, let's get into this stupid show. I actually watched one match on the show. You should be very proud of me. It wasn't the first match, though. FTR came out. They complained about being pinned by an illegal man. They confronted the referee. The referee said his decision was final. Edge and Christian came out there, attacked them. And then Christian was about to go in on their fathers when Edge stopped them and said, you know, we're not doing this. And then the crowd kind of goaded Edge into letting Christian do it. And he says that Cash Wheeler's had a father and he's dead. And Edge said that we got to have a match between the four of these guys at All Out. All right, so this is the first match announced for All Out. It was Edge and Christian versus FTR. Okay, I actually do want to see that. So maybe I will be watching it. I know Edge and Christian they're on the wrong side of their prime. But it still could be a fun tag team contest. Come on, cut me some slack. Darby Allin is backstage. He cut a promo and a vignette from his movie days. He went and made some home movies. It included fire and him ripping the bandage off his ear so he can write in blood and a bunch of ridiculous stuff. Says he's going to take everything from Moxley. We don't know what that means because Moxley doesn't have anything. He said he saw bodies on Mount Everest and he cried, but at the top he felt alive. And that Moxley stole precious moments from people. What the hell is he talking about? And he says that unless Moxley is willing to die, he shouldn't show up to All Out. Wheeler Yuta, after Moxley defeated Daniel Garcia in a rather hard-fought match, where Daniel Garcia showed quite a bit of heart, then Moxley actually tried to talk to Daniel Garcia. I found that to be very interesting because they seem like they're trying to recruit him. Maybe. Wheeler Yuta gave Darby Allin a big fat no on behalf of Jon Moxley. And in the main event of the evening, Falls Count Anywhere, Darby Allin versus Claudio Castagnoli. I watched more of this match than I should have, to be quite honest. So what got me hooked into the match was the initial spot. Darby attacks Claudio during his entrance. Claudio somehow ends up with Darby Allin in a shopping cart. He runs the shopping cart into all of these chairs, and then he swings Darby up the ramp into the guardrail. Just crazy. Darby then climbs the fixture and he jumps off. Does a coffin drop off that. It was pretty far jump too. And then obviously the huge spot of the night, where Claudio picks up Darby and launches him from in the ring, outside the ring through the desk. This was made much better because there was no commentary. The commentary stopped, and actually they moved. So Claudio gave them a warning that this unidentified flying object was coming, even though they did identify it as Darby Allin. Then I realized I was watching too much of this match when the match continued after that. I was like, oh, I'm stupid. I forgot. In AEW, if you are thrown from the ring to the floor, you can still win the match, because apparently your opponent is made of paper mache. Claudio can do all these incredible things, but if a less than 200-pound guy falls on him, he can't get up. It's over. And Darby Allin gets to a point where he's the most consistent thing about AEW, is that Darby Allin is going to sacrifice himself. Darby Allin is going to tear his body up. Darby Allin is going to take the bumps. And his matches are somewhat exciting. The problem is he takes me right out of them, because he takes the silliest bumps of all time and still manages to win. There's no excuse for him to win this match. If he was going to win this match, he should not have taken that bump. It just buried Claudio. You make Claudio look like trash. He did all this stuff to this guy and still managed to lose because this little man fell on his stomach. This is stupid. Anyway, Moxley and Gabe Kidd attacked Darby after the match. Darby fought him off and fled. So they're teasing Darby and Moxley at the pay-per-view. We've already seen Moxley stab this guy. What more can it? We've seen Moxley stab him already and almost cut his ear off. We've watched Claudio bench press him and throw him from the ring to the floor. We've seen him fall on bunches of ladders. Like, what's next? What's next? He's going to run home and watch more Jackass. Some Bam Margera, and get some more ideas. Oh my God. I don't know if I can handle that. Yuta was talking, and it made me violently angry. It made me also need to take a shit. And then Hook came out there, and Hook had been gone for a while, but clearly nowhere near a gym. Maybe he told Taz he was going to the gym, and he really went to the arcade, because those arms did not look like gym arms. He looked like he ain't been in a gym in months. He looked like he bags groceries. Why consistently on AEW are the wrestlers looking like Jim? All right? Your neighbor. This looks like a guy who would have been hanging around the mall in 2001. He does not look like a professional wrestler. He also had a very bad theme song. I don't know what that was. My brother thought it was Frank Sinatra. Like, I'm almost certain it's not Frank Sinatra. I don't know what that was. It was bad, though. It sucked, and it didn't seem to fit, and they wouldn't stop playing it. It was the shits. MJF cut a really great promo. He was very angry at the fan chants about him deserving it. He called himself the best in the world, said he's going to burn Briscoe the next time he sees him. Briscoe, on the other hand, he's got a new baby, which is, I think he's got more babies than he got teeth at this point. I'm pretty sure that baby probably has more teeth. I think this is his 13th child. This guy's got a lot of kids, man. God bless him. He's got a lot of kids. He says he's going to set MJF's hopes on fire. And then he called out Kyle Fletcher for a TNT championship match. Okay. Sure. Whatever. Megan Bayne and Penelope Ford lose to Harley Cameron and Chris Statlander. Only thing I saw about this is the finish, where Chris Statlander tapped out Penelope Ford. Megan Bayne has been on this show months now. Every time I see her, she's losing, and she's losing because of Penelope Ford. And it's stupid. It's a profoundly stupid idea. They got this girl who is physically tremendous, and this is what she's doing. She's stuck in a tag team, going nowhere fast with the undercard jabroni girl. Anyway, Megan Bayne continues to fight after the match. She was attacking Harley Cameron and Chris Statlander, and then she got beat up by Chris Statlander. So, there you go. If you thought that they were taking her seriously, you're wrong. Wrong. She may not be getting pinned, but she's getting kicked around by Chris Statlander, who is a very impressive young lady. I cannot be mad at her. Mercedes Moné did an extremely bad promo, horribly bad promo, about wanting to beat Ultimo Dragon's 10 championships. She also talked about Alex Isor and, how she didn't tap out. So I guess they're still doing this thing with her and Alex Isor. Look, I don't care about this stuff. She had all these belts on the desk, like on the table. It reminded me very much of when Cody had all the replica WWE championships out there earlier this year when he's about to wrestle John Cena. It felt the same way, except they were trying to tell everybody where these belts came from, but nobody knows the name of her opponents for 60% of those belts. Okay, nobody knows who the hell she beat, and it doesn't matter. And folks are still trying to tell you, oh, look, their championships is on TV. I still don't know anything about it. I see the physical belt. I've never seen it anywhere else. It doesn't mean anything, sir. Just like the J Crown didn't mean anything. Well, I remember seeing the J Crown the first time I saw it. I was like, wow, that's a lot of belts. He must be a badass. And I never really individualized all the belts. Didn't really care about any of those individual belts. Just saw like all the belts. I'm like, wow, that's very cool. And that was it. Didn't think too much about it. I didn't overthink it. I wasn't that kind of kid. There was an all-star 8-man tag that drove me up the fucking wall. I hate these matches. These matches are purely for the sickos because they're the only ones that don't complain about them. The Don Callis family defeated Bro Dito and Jet Speed. They're still teasing that Okada and Takeshita have issues. I guess there can only be one Japanese man on your team at any given time. The Don Callis family were not done for the evening. However, after Hangman Page came out and thanked Will Ospreay and said he wanted to give Will Ospreay a world title match, Don Callis came out, said that Hangman won a world title from him because a weakling was defending it for him, but he wants it back. But who in the Don Callis family is going to be the one that's going to collect the belt for Don Callis? So then all of the members of the Don Callis family circled the ring to attack Hangman. Jet Speed and Kenny Omega came out there to make the save. After Don Callis and his boys fled, Omega and Hangman Page shared a hug to a pop from the crowd. I think this is the first time they've been friends since their initial fallout, right? I think this is the first time they've been cool since Hangman won the belt from him. Don Callis being Bobby Heenan in this situation where he's going to have this revolving group of heels, clearly it's not going to be, they're not going to feed Takeshita or Okada to Hangman. So get ready for Wardlow to lose to Hangman and Lance Archer to lose to Hangman. Maybe Kyle Fletcher would do a job, but probably not. If you're going to pick one person who should beat Hangman for the belt, it probably should be Takeshita. That would probably be the most logical decision. Or you could do a champion versus champion match with Okada, I guess. You might be able to get away with that. If Okada will actually show up to work, though. I mean, on a serious note, like show up. Like literally, not he's just physically in the building. I mean, like he gets excited. Now, the match I did watch was the Trios Championship match, Ricochet and the Gates of Agony versus the Ops. And the reason I watched this match is because most of the people in this match looked like pro wrestlers. Khan, Toa Liona, Hobbs, Samoa Joe, they all look like pro wrestlers. I mean, Ricochet is a midget, but at least he's in good shape. Shibata he survived his brain being removed and put back in, so clearly he's a top-notch human being. And then I watched it, and I was like, man, I don't know. Maybe watching it was a mistake. Shibata and Khan is in a chop fight, and Shibata is winning the chop fight despite having no muscle mass whatsoever. And then I was like, I know watching it was a mistake because Ricochet went outside the ring and was quote unquote stomping on one of the ops. I don't remember which one it was, but it was the worst stomps I'd ever seen. They were the shits. All right. They were very, very bad stomps, very amateur. They didn't look professional at all. It looked like it was terrible. And then I also, maybe halfway through the match, I realized what was going to happen. So I was just waiting for the Hurt Syndicate to show up. And MVP hit Ricochet in the back with the cane while nobody was looking, leading to Ricochet losing in the Coquina clutch. After that, Shelton and Lashley fought with the Gates of Agony after the match. And these are definitely guys who can stand up to Lashley and Shelton Benjamin. Unfortunately, Khan, who is extremely muscular, could not seemingly overpower Katsuyori Shibata, especially when you look at Shibata's arms and the definition of his physical frame and the fact that his brain was removed and put back in. You would think he would be easy pickings for a guy who should be knocked on his ass. Nope. He's probably the toughest guy on the whole goddamn team. It's unfortunate. Anyway, that's Dynamite. It wasn't great. Somebody said that 2300 arena, it looks like an NXT building, and it does. It really does. People have complained that it was too much light. It wasn't gritty. Look, the entire idea of it being like the ECW arena, that's long gone. They renovated and renamed that building. The ECW arena, as you knew it, is dead. And it has been for a really long time. I know that Tony Khan's been tweeting out how, it's been almost 30 years since the last time he was in this building. A lot of AEW fans are ECW fans, and they think this is a hallowed, sacred ground. But this is a completely different ECW arena. It looks nicer, but that's actually part of where the charm is lost. But I didn't hate the building. It was very snug in terms of being a smaller building. So I wasn't mad about that. It's just I didn't like the show. So fuck this show. Let me know what you guys think. I'll talk to you good people later. Peace.
No one does it better.